Greetings, everyone! So I've decided to do one of those character videos. Usually this kind of stuff isn't my thing, but this has been on my mind for forever. I've been staying up late at night thinking about this. Like, you all know the meme of the brain trying to talk to someone who's like trying to sleep, and then it says something to them that keeps them up at night? That is me. So I figured I'd make a video about this. So everyone knows but doesn't know Ernest Frankenstein. He's the middle brother, the one who's either spared or not. Everyone who knows that Ernest exists assumes that he's the last living Frankenstein, which in itself is a little bit confusing, but aside from that, I believe he's the most tragic character. Aside from Justine and the creature, god, I could rant for days about them. Now, I know that sounds like a stretch. Like, he didn't have to deal with his family's killer, nor was he killed or framed. But I'm gonna need you all to imagine yourself in his situation. You are 11 years old, and your mother dies from a disease. And then, not too long after, your older brother leaves to go to a university. And he doesn't even contact or visit for a couple years. And as someone who was bored and upset for my brother staying at a dorm for less than a year, and even though he visited us almost every weekend, I can't even imagine the pain. You're upset with him and you miss him, but whatever. You still have the rest of your family here. And then, the guy who's like an older brother to you goes to that same university to take care of your brother, and he's gone for a while. So one day, you and your little 5-year-old brother decide to go for a walk. You two decide to play a game, and your little brother runs off. When your brother is gone for hours, you start feeling deathly worried. And then, your baby brother's little corpse is found. Marks around his neck, his skin pale. Most likely you'd break down the second you saw this. He was murdered. Who would murder a child? He did nothing wrong and certainly couldn't have had any enemies. And then, the lady who was basically a mother figure to you two is being convicted as the killer. Which doesn't make any sense, because she obviously loved your little brother and wouldn't ever lay a finger on him. And then she gets executed. No proper goodbyes, everyone else forever remembering her as the person who murdered your little brother, all of that. So, most likely, you and your whole family would be down in the dumps. But your older brother is acting a bit more loony and leaving the house more often. And then suddenly, another death. The guy who was a proper older brother to you has been murdered, the same way your little brother was. And another framing has taken place. Your actual brother is being accused as the murderer. But, thankfully, he was saved by your father, so you don't have to deal with another death or your brother being in prison for years. So, all these horrible deaths happened, but hey, it's time to cheer up because your brother and sister figure are getting married. I can see why people aren't a big fan of Victor and Elizabeth's marriage. So hooray, a nice marriage! Your sister figure is finally legally part of the family, and you're happy for them. You're probably going to become an uncle soon, and this time, you'll make sure to keep a better watch on those you love and make sure they don't run off and get killed. Plus, the house won't feel as quiet. But breaking news! Your sister figure has been killed, the same way your brother and brother figure were. So, extremely upset at all this, you probably want comfort from your father, but your father couldn't handle the news and died from apoplectic shock. So you only have your brother left. Your brother who's been absent for years, your brother who isn't opening up about anything, and your brother who's been acting all crazy and paranoid and is now saying things like, I need to find him and end this nightmare. And is now traveling the world to do just that. Probably not sending any letters or visiting you despite being the only family he has left. And keep in mind, you're 13 years old. But years later, you get news that your brother finally died, and you get an explanation for all that's happened to your family. Brother, the crazy idiot he was, decided that he was going to create life, and once he finally did, left his creation over the stupidest thing, having weird eyes. So his creation, who was basically a child, had to deal with messed up people trying to kill him, just because he looked kind of weird. So his creation figured that the best revenge was to psychologically torture your brother. So William died, your mother figure was framed, everyone else was killed. So, learning all of what truly happened, you learned that your brother was actually an awful person. He ignored and basically forgot you all because he was so caught up in what he was doing, and when he was finally finished, he immediately regretted it and didn't do anything with his new breakthrough. So was all that work for nothing? And he could have stepped in to save your mother figure from being hanged, but he didn't want to get in trouble for anything. He didn't realize his own faults and that he started all of this. And worst of all, your brother didn't just abandon his creation to this cruel world. He abandoned you to this cruel world. You were his only surviving family member, and he didn't stay to take care of you. He abandoned you. He left you because he wanted to finish what he started. He abandoned you because you're the invisible Frankenstein. Woof! If that doesn't hurt you, you have an invincible heart, because mine was grabbed by the creature and beaten the crap out of. Now, I don't think that Victor hated Ernest or anything, I just find it crappy that he didn't stay to watch over him until he was an adult. I like to headcanon that Ernest got adopted by a kind family who took care of him and helped him with his trauma, and then he grew up to get married to a nice partner, and they adopted a couple kids. Mostly because his sister figure was adopted and he later got adopted, so he wanted to give kids a better chance at life. Really hope that's what happened, because I just want to jump into the book and give this boy a huge hug. Then again, I want to do that with all the main Frankenstein characters. I definitely view all the other characters as tragic, but after I saw Psycho Manchester's Frankenstein Vine video and the Ernest part, it made me really think of him. Like, it'd be kind of awesome if there was a sequel where all the characters were ghosts, and Victor's like trying to talk to Ernest, and Ernest is all like, "Leave me alone, I hate you, you abandoned me." Just, more Victor like suffering from his actions